welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking on one of the most brilliant military turnarounds in history.
Joshua's stunning deception at Ai.
Exactly. And we're going to examine the strategy, but also the crucial shift in the rules of engagement after that disastrous previous attempt.
And that's really the starting point, isn't it?
The instructions he received, they weren't just tactical. He first had to overcome the sheer psychological weight of that failure.
And that's exactly where the sources begin this analysis. The very first command to Joshua is one of immediate reassurance.
Do not fear.
Do not fear and do not be dismayed. The victory isn't presented as something he has to earn. It's promised. It sets the whole frame for the operation.
I have given into your hand the king of Ai.
Yeah.
And all the rest.
Right. The outcome is already decided. Now it's about the process.
Okay, so let's unpack this operational shift, because this is where it gets really interesting for anyone listening.
It's a total 180 from Jericho.
Right. At Jericho, the policy was utter destruction. Right. You couldn't touch the spoil. Taking anything led to disaster.
But here, the instruction in verse 2 is just completely reversed. God explicitly allows Israel to take the spoil and the livestock for themselves.
So what's the thinking there? Why the change?
Well, the commentary suggests this change, which granted them immediate wealth, was tied to the community having, purified themselves after the last failure. But the deep insight is that you just can't rely on the rules from the last battle. What worked or what was commanded before might not apply now.
And you can see that trust reflected in the actual strategy he uses. It's incredibly sophisticated.
It's not about brute force this time. It's about deception.
He selects 30,000 mighty men of valor, sends them out by night to set an ambush.
And the location is key. To the west of the city, between Bethel and Ai. Perfectly positioned.
Then Joshua and the main force, they just march right up to the city.
Which brings us to the most high-risk move in the entire plan.
The feigned retreat.
Exactly. The command was to flee before the Ai army, just as before. The whole thing hinged on the enemy's arrogance.
So they were counting on Ai to think, oh, here we go again, an easy win.
That's it. Their earlier success completely blinded them. The goal was pure psychological warfare. Draw them so far from the city that it was left wide open.
A massive gamble.
Nothing.
What if they didn't take the bait?
But they did. They were so convinced they were routing the Israelites again that they literally emptied the city to give chase.
And once it was undefended, the 30,000-man ambush team moves in.
They rise up and seize it. Simple as that.
But how did the main army know it had worked? What was the signal?
The signal for success. That the ambush force had to set the city on fire. That rising pillar of smoke was the only proof that the deception had succeeded.
Incredible.
So if you synthesize the overarching insight from the notes here, it's that the success of the entire operation.
Both the military part and the new wealth.
Right. It all demonstrates that victory depends entirely on following the current specific instruction, even if it seems to contradict what you learned from a prior success.
So it's about trusting the current lead over your own logic.
Exactly.
So we can really leave you with this dual success. On one hand, tactical brilliance.
The feigned retreat, the ambush, the timing.
And on the other, this strict adherence to specific evolving rules about plunder. It shows the importance of executing the current plan perfectly.
That's right. And that brings us to the final thought for you to consider. When you look at this strategy laid out in the text, where in your own life are you maybe struggling to trust the timing of a plan rather than just the plan itself?
Right. Are you still applying the rules of yesterday's battle
to today's opportunity?